In a development that has left Prince Andrew reeling with grief and disbelief, Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, has decided to end their extraordinary 17-year post-divorce cohabitation and forge an entirely separate future. After standing resolutely by the embattled royal through the darkest chapters of the Jeffrey Epstein scandal, multiple public humiliations, and the systematic stripping away of his titles and privileges, Sarah has chosen not to accompany her ex-husband into the reduced circumstances that now await him. The woman once celebrated for having the happiest divorced arrangement in the world is walking away at the precise moment Andrew needs her most, leaving the disgraced Duke to face a lonely exile without the daily companionship that has sustained him for almost 2 decades. For 17 years, the sprawling 30-room royal lodge on the Windsor estate served as the unlikely stage for one of the most unconventional domestic arrangements in modern royal history. Though legally divorced since 1996, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and Sarah Ferguson never truly parted ways. They continued to share the same roof, raise their daughters Beatrice and Eugenie together, holiday as a family unit, and present a conspicuously united front to the outside world. Sarah, in particular, became Andrew's fiercest and most visible champion. When the Epstein allegations exploded into public view, when the disastrous 2019 BBC Newsnight interview aired, when Virginia Giuffre's civil lawsuit was settled for a reported £12 million without an admission of liability, Sarah remained immovable. She repeatedly described Andrew as a kind, good man who had simply made unwise friendships, and she dismissed the accusations against him as unthinkable. Even as courtiers, politicians, and much of the British public turned their backs, Sarah insisted that the father of her children was innocent. That loyalty appeared unbreakable. Until now, the catalyst for this seismic rupture was King Charles III's uncompromising decision to evict his younger brother from Royal Lodge. Having already removed Andrew's military titles, honorary ranks, and royal patronages in 2022, the king has now demanded that the Duke vacate the Grade II-listed mansion he has called home for over 20 years. Andrew, who signed a 75-year lease on the property in 2003 and reportedly spent £7.5 million of his own money refurbishing it, has been told he must downsize to a far more modest residence, possibly Frogmore Cottage or a property on the private Sandringham estate in Norfolk. Security funding for Royal Lodge, previously covered by the sovereign grant, has been withdrawn, and Charles has made it clear that Andrew must finance his own protection and upkeep going forward. With his income streams severely curtailed and legal bills still outstanding, the financial pressure has become unsustainable. It was against this backdrop that Sarah delivered her bombshell. She will not be moving with him. Sources close to the Duchess confirm that she is actively exploring independent living arrangements, with strong indications that she intends to spend significant time, if not relocate permanently, to Portugal. There, her younger daughter Princess Eugenie and son-in-law Jack Brooksbank own a £3.6 million villa within the exclusive Costa Terra Golf and Ocean Club, a luxurious development an hour south of Lisbon where Brooksbank works as a brand ambassador. The sun-drenched, 7-bedroom property boasts ocean views, access to a private beach, and the kind of relaxed, upscale lifestyle that stands in stark contrast to the grey skies and isolation awaiting Andrew in Norfolk. Royal commentators have been scrambling to interpret what Sarah's departure truly signifies. Veteran BBC royal correspondent Jenny Bond, speaking to the Mirror, expressed genuine shock at the split. "I am surprised," she admitted. "They have been so joined at the hip for so many years, even though the romantic side of their marriage ended long ago." Bond offered 2 primary theories that have dominated subsequent discussion. The first, and most damaging to Andrew, is that Sarah may finally have reached a private conclusion that she can no longer support his protestations of innocence. After living in the same house, sharing the same intimate domestic space, and observing him at close quarters for nearly 2 decades, something may have shifted irrevocably in her belief system. If the woman who knows Andrew most intimately in the world has quietly withdrawn her faith, the implications are devastating. The second, less sensational explanation is that Andrew himself has decided he wishes to be alone. Facing permanent banishment from public life and the unbearable weight of his ruined reputation, he may have concluded that continued codependence with Sarah, however comforting, only prolongs a charade neither can sustain. In this reading, the separation is a mutual, if painful, acknowledgement that their peculiarly successful post-divorce partnership has reached its natural end. Whichever interpretation ultimately proves correct, the practical consequences are brutal. Sarah appears poised to embrace a new chapter surrounded by her daughters and grandchildren, basking in Portuguese sunshine and gradually rehabilitating her own public image away from the toxic Epstein association. Andrew, meanwhile, faces the prospect of rattling around a modest Norfolk house, guarded by private security he can barely afford, with no official role, no public platform, and now no daily companion to soften the blow.
Public reaction has been unsparing.
On social media platforms, many had declared that Sarah's exit represents the final, irrefutable proof that even Andrew's most devoted ally has reached her limit. "If Fergie's had enough, that tells you everything," has been a common refrain. Others have praised the Duchess for her years of loyalty while arguing that no one could reasonably expect her to sacrifice the remainder of her life to a cause widely regarded as hopeless. Very few voices have mustered sympathy for Andrew himself. His reputation, already in tatters, now appears beyond salvage. For the Duke, the emotional toll is almost impossible to overstate. In the space of a few short years he has lost his mother, the late Queen, his greatest protector, his military identity, his royal status, his London residence at Buckingham Palace, his cherished royal lodge, and now the one person who has shared his table, his holidays, and his private moments since the Epstein scandal erupted.
Friends reportedly worry about his mental resilience.
One told a newspaper, Sarah was his lifeline. Without her there every day, the silence is going to be deafening. Whether Andrew will use this final rupture as a catalyst to confront the allegations more directly, seek some form of reconciliation with his accusers, or simply disappear deeper into seclusion remains unknown. What is certain is that the peculiar, often touching story of the Yorks' post-divorce companionship, one that once seemed to defy every conventional rule about separation, has reached its melancholy conclusion. Public reaction has been unforgiving toward the Duke. On social media, many have declared that Sarah's exit is proof even Fergie has finally had enough and that Andrew is now reaping what he sowed. A common sentiment is that if the one person who stuck by him through the absolute worst has now chosen to leave, the allegations against him must carry more weight than his denials. Sympathy, such as it is, has largely transferred to Sarah, with commentators praising the extraordinary loyalty she showed for so long and agreeing she has earned the right to step away from a situation widely regarded as toxic and hopeless. For Andrew, the psychological impact is likely to be profound. In recent years he has already lost his mother, his greatest protector, his titles, his purpose, his home, and his reputation. Losing Sarah's daily companionship, the one constant that allowed him to maintain at least the illusion of family life, may prove the most painful cut of all. Sources close to the royal household have privately expressed concern about his mental state, with some fearing that total isolation could push an already withdrawn figure into even deeper retreat. Whether this separation is born of Sarah's quiet disillusionment, Andrew's desire for solitude, or simply a 66-year-old woman deciding to prioritize her own health and happiness after decades of self-sacrifice, the result is the same. The most famous divorced but together couple in royal history is no more. Their unconventional arrangement, once held up as proof that deep friendship and co-parenting could survive the end of romance, has finally succumbed to the relentless pressure of the Epstein scandal and its unending fallout. Sarah Ferguson is stepping into sunlight and family warmth in the Algarve. Prince Andrew is walking alone toward a long, cold Norfolk winter. After 17 years of defying the odds together, their paths have finally, irrevocably diverged. The happiest divorced couple in the world is no more, and the royal family's most stubborn scandal refuses to fade quietly into history.